front, the top part.
Yes.
So it is very nice.
So it's basically the design
and
we
then from
do.
the side, it looks like a whale.
Yeah, this is just a little bit to give it a bit of a story, and to also explain that actually it's about communication and about how to communicate with each other, and this is all about communication, and it's a medical device.
And everything is all about beauty. I think people want to look good now. I think people do care a lot about appearance, the outer appearance. Nowadays, don't you think?
Correct, but also what we are looking at is more about the user, and also how do users interact with devices, how to make it easy for users to interact. Because you see, there is a difference that if an engineer, a person with a very smart person, engineering background, designs something, very often to interact with a product like this, you also need to have an engineering degree.
Yeah.
Now, there's more and more, and actually this has started with Apple and the iPhone. When Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone, suddenly you have a device that every little kid and every grandmother, could use, because it was something that was very simple to use and something that had, at the time it came out, it was really intuitive.
Does your company have any part to do with the iPhone? Any part at all?
We actually have some, one particular device that is currently also available on the Apple Store. I didn't bring it with me, but it's a design of like a docking station for business use. And the story behind it really is that, most people nowadays don't use the land phone anymore.
Right.
Most people will use their smartphone. Now Apple, wants to go also into the business market, and so basically having this phone combined with a docking station that interacts with your internal network. Basically, you need to have something called like a special box that actually interacts with this.
I see.
You can then use your iPhone to make internal phone calls.
Oh,
so we designed something like this, and it's currently also available on the Apple Store. It's called the iFusion. But we also do some designs for user interface, and this is something perhaps that you might be interested in.
Maybe you don't have to move it. I think it's.
I don't have to move it.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, this is a user interface. This was actually the very first interactive magazine app in Taiwan.
Really?
For iPad. The very first interactive iPad magazine app in Taiwan. And if you look at the iPad introduced in 2010, by a couple of months later, you had some companies like Richard Branch's Project Magazine, like Wired Magazine, making interactive magazines. And Taiwan was very, very quick in this. As a matter of fact, this started in December 2010, January 2011.
Okay.
And this was then made into a interactive iPad magazine app. And it was the very first one in Taiwan that we worked on. And we did the user interface on this.
I see.
So we made the interaction with it, and then you can basically interact with it. And you can also download it in the Apple Store. But basically gives you different modules of how to interact with it. And and you can do various things with it. So it gives you this type of like environment. So there are 20, in this particular case, 20 different modules that you can do things with.
Wow, very nice.
And also, for example, again, it's for the fashion market. You could dress her up, and then it's good.
Really?
Yeah, for example here. But there's so many other aspects on this. It's like 20 mini programs with it. But we did more with it. We did another one afterwards that had a different type of flow. But the key thinking here is that it's about the user, and it's the user interface to make it attractive and easy to use. That you don't think about the technology, but that you just use it intuitively.
Well, I guess this thing is for me, but I have to first get an iPad, right?
Oh, then that's.
Yeah, I love fashion. Wow. Well, so what is the most selling thing in Taiwan that you've designed, among Taiwanese people?
See, that's a very good question. But then I also have to tell you a little bit more of how we work. We do one particular part, and we do that part extremely well. These are user experiences. This is industrial design. This is user interface. But we are not touching your company's channels or sales. So, I always say if a company has very lazy salespeople, it's not our fault. We cannot
right.
influence this.
Yeah.
If they have bad marketing, we cannot influence this.
Okay.
We can only do one part of everything, and we can do that very well. And we do that very well. But we cannot, educate a person. If a salesperson sleeps all day long, you will not, even if you have the best product in the world, you're not able to sell it.
Right.
Apple is a machine. Apple is a very strong, driven machine that has a very clear path and a very clear plan. It is not a bunch of guys who sit together and think that they can do something. They have a very strong marketing, very strong sales team, very strong product development team. Everything is very strong. That's why they have become one of the strongest companies in the world.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Right? So that's an important aspect of it, that we cannot influence everything.
True, obviously, yeah. Well, I understand that Pilotfish is a company that the government is trying to promote because the Taiwanese government is trying to promote the, the design industry. We're going to find out all about this, but let's take a break first.